Hey everybody. Well, this has got to be the longest video in preparation that I've ever done in my life before. I started this thing way back in late April. It's now July the 2nd and I'm finally ready to make this video today. I've got 14 pages of notes for this video, front and back, every page, plus half of the front of page 15. But I'm not going to give everything in this video. It's just too much stuff. So we'll just give the highlights. So, this is my in memoriam / tribute video to Ellie Rodriguez, a catcher in Major League Baseball who played for 5 different teams over 9 seasons between 1968 and 1976. Ellie Rodriguez loved to catch. The catching position put him in the center of the action of a baseball game, from his sandlot days in the Bronx Federation League and a Spanish League in New York City, to a 9-year Major League career with 5 teams. In 1969, Rodriguez was the Kansas City Royals' only selection to the All-Star Game. Eliseo Rodriguez Delgado, he's got 2 last names. So the way they name people in Hispanic countries is that the father's last name becomes the middle name, and the last name, Delgado, is his mother's last name. That's how they name people. But he was known as Ellie Rodriguez. But his full name, Eliseo Rodriguez Delgado, he was born in Fajardo, Puerto Rico, on May the 24th, 1946, to Francisco Rodriguez, that's his father, and Juana Delgado, his mother. Francisco farmed, and Juana cared for Eliseo, his older brother Jimmy, who owned Jimmy's Bronx Cafe in the 1980s, and 2 sisters, Daly and Iris. As of 2018, only Eliseo and Daly survived. In 1953, Francisco moved his family from the depressed economy of Puerto Rico to New York City. He worked primarily on tomato farms in New Jersey to support the family, who lived at 174th Street and Boston Road, 10 streets from Yankee Stadium. While at Public School 61 in the Bronx, Rodriguez played stickball with a pitcher, batter, and outfielder. They drew the strike zone with chalk on the wall of the building and used brooms and a red rubber ball. Quote, "We'd get up in the morning and be in the schoolyard," he said. From about age 12, Eliseo walked to Yankee Stadium with Jimmy to watch Mickey Mantle, Whitey Ford, Elston Howard, and Yogi Berra, who became Rodriguez's boyhood idol. The way he hit and the way he caught, he got my attention. Until at least 2018, Rodriguez advised young players in his Roosevelt Baseball School, founded in 1994 at San Juan, to watch and learn from the best. "When you're young, you watch and learn," Rodriguez said. "I used to watch all those good catchers, naming Berra, Howard, Cleveland's Jim Hegan, and Brooklyn's Roy Campanella among those he learned from." Rodriguez played sandlot baseball, but boxing became his first real competitive sport after an incident near Herman Ritter Junior High. "One time I got out of school and these guys started pushing me around," he recalled. "My brother said, 'We've got to get you in the gym so you know how to defend yourself.' We got in the gym and learned how to fight." Rodriguez honed his skills at the St. Mary's Park and Recreation Center on 38th Street. At age 16, he entered the New York Daily News Golden Gloves competition as a novice 175-pound middleweight and won 2 bouts, one by technical knockout and the other on a decision. When he broke the middle finger on his right hand during a sparring session, he turned exclusively to baseball. Rodriguez graduated from James Monroe High School in 1964. His Spanish League team, El Gardel, which had won 16 games in a row, defeated an amateur team from Puerto Rico for the championship at New York's Central Park. Catcher Rodriguez threw out 4 or 5 base stealers, and former Kansas City Athletics scout Felix Delgado told him, "When you get back to New York, I'm going to send a scout there to sign you." 2 days later, scout Tommy Giordano signed Rodriguez to a contract that carried a $4,000 bonus and a progressive bonus of $7,500. "When you signed and went to AA, you got $1,000, Rodriguez explained. "When you got to AAA, you got $1,500. When you reached the big leagues, you got $5,000. Eventually, Rodriguez received the entire bonus from his beloved Yankees. In 1964, before the season, he was signed by Giordano into the Kansas City Athletics organization as an amateur free agent. Rodriguez entered professional baseball with the Single-A Daytona Beach, Florida Islanders in the Florida State League, where he played 17 games at catcher, hitting .238 with no home runs and 5 RBIs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, and 6 runs scored. He then batted .354 for the Wytheville, Virginia A's of the rookie-level Appalachian League in 56 games, with 4 home runs and 34 RBIs, 27 walks, 26 strikeouts, 54 runs scored, 10 doubles, 6 triples, and 3 stolen bases. That 27 walks and 26 strikeouts is interesting because he wound up being one of the few guys in major leagues who wound up his career with more walks than strikeouts overall in his career. And another thing that he did that was notable was that he threw out over 41% of the base stealers who tried to steal against him. So he was a really good defensive catcher. I hit particularly well against the Yankees, Rodriguez recalled. They got a real good report on me. Rodriguez also played well defensively, thanks in part to instruction from Wytheville's manager, former Major League catcher Gus Niarchos, and due in part to footwork Rodriguez learned as a boxer. It's all about your quick feet and release, he said. If you're quick on your feet, that gets your body in position to throw the ball quickly. After the season on November 30th, 1964, the Yankees selected Rodriguez in the first-year player draft and sent him to Class A Greensboro, North Carolina, where in 1965 he drove in 45 runs in 108 games and hit .272 for the Yankees of the Carolina League. He also scored 49 runs, made 93 hits, including 14 doubles, 4 triples, and 2 home runs. He stole 2 bases, was caught 3 times, with 57 walks and 40 strikeouts. He played most of the next 2 seasons with 2 minor league teams, making the 1966 Southern League All-Star team with the Double-A Columbus, Georgia Confederate Yankees. He batted .233 with 2 home runs and 37 RBIs in 110 games, scoring 35 runs with 78 hits, which included 14 doubles and 2 triples. He stole 4 bases in 8 attempts with 37 walks and 41 strikeouts. In 1967, he started the season with the Double-A Binghamton, New York Triplets of the Eastern League for 14 games, hitting .231 with no homers and 4 RBIs, 3 runs scored, 9 hits including 1 double, 4 walks, and 2 strikeouts. He moved up to the Triple-A Syracuse, New York Chiefs, batting .248 with 2 home runs and 26 RBIs in 83 games. He scored 27 runs and made 66 hits, including 4 doubles. He was a perfect 6 for 6 in stolen bases, with 27 walks and 36 strikeouts. The Yankees kept Rodriguez on the Major League roster as a condition of his draft selection. They brought me to spring training every year, he said. Rodriguez spent the offseason of 1967-68 playing for the Puerto Rican League champion Caguas Criollos. He had an 11-game hitting streak and hit the first Grand Slam of the season on November the 5th. Caguas won the league title over the defending champion Santurce Crabbers 17-2 on January 28th at San Juan before a record crowd of 21,812. One of 5 catchers on the 1968 Yankees spring training roster, Rodriguez had a shot to make the team. National Guard duty for players in those days, when the military draft was still in effect, opened the door for hopefuls like the 21-year-old Rodriguez. Yankees manager Ralph Houck chose his 25-man roster with an emergency catcher in mind. This is his 4th visit to the Yankee training camp, Jim Ogle wrote of Rodriguez in the Sporting News, but the first time he has been more than a face and a number. Rodriguez told Ogle, "This is the first time I ever came here with the feeling that I was part of the team. In the past, there was always an Elston Howard or Jake Gibbs and a couple of others. I knew it was only a question of how long I would be around. Believe me, when I come up, I'll be ready." Syracuse manager Gary Blaylock said, "Rodriguez could step in and catch in the majors right now. He still needs a little work on his hitting, but there isn't a better young catcher in baseball." His dream of playing for the Yankees came true on Sunday afternoon, May 26, 1968, at Yankee Stadium in the first game of a doubleheader against the Chicago White Sox. With catcher Frank Fernandez on weekend military duty, Rodriguez caught ace pitcher Mel Stottlemyre for the entire game. The first batter up, White Sox center fielder Ken Berry, got on base via an infield single, but Rodriguez threw him out trying to steal second, with Pete Ward at the plate. Rodriguez got his first at-bat from the 8th spot in the batting order in the bottom of the 2nd inning, and the Yankees already ahead 3-0. With 1 out and nobody on base, he hit a fly ball to center field, caught by Berry, the man he had thrown out at second base earlier. This came against White Sox starter and losing pitcher Gary Peters. Stoudemire pitched the complete game victory for New York. The winning run was scored by Tom Tresh on a 2-run home run in the first inning. Rodriguez went 0 for 3. For the highly regarded prospect, his chance came quickly and was a day to remember. He drove 4.5 hours from Syracuse, arriving at Yankee Stadium at 11:30 in the morning. I'm dressing, and Ralph Houck said, "You're playing, you're in there." Clubhouse manager Pete Sheehy had Rodriguez's uniform number 23 in the training room. There was one empty locker next to Mickey Mantle. "Welcome to the Yankees," said the Mick, who told Sheehy he's going to dress right here. Of the 23,966 in attendance, 30 or more were Rodriguez's family and friends, his parents, siblings, and 10 or 15 cousins. He got free tickets from Mantle, his roommate Bobby Mercer, and other teammates. Other friends paid for tickets, Rodriguez recalled. Now, from there, we're going to go into his move to Kansas City from the Yankees. So, let's see here. On October 15th, 1968, he became property of the new Kansas City Royals. A second-round selection, the 13th pick in the 1968 MLB expansion draft. He became an original Kansas City Royal. Next we have, Rodriguez had several key games in 1969 in which he achieved personal firsts, as well as 4 3-hit games and a first All-Star selection. It all started for him and the Royals on April 8th at home against the Minnesota Twins. And he was wearing his new uniform number 11 for the Royals. Changed from 23. And the next part I'm going to talk about is his feud with Spaceman Lee, Bill Spaceman Lee. Go to page 6. In his return to the Puerto Rican League for the 1970-71 season, Rodriguez momentarily returned to boxing when he punched Mayaguez pitcher Bill Spaceman Lee outside the Caguas ballpark on November 20th, 1970, causing Lee's face to strike a handrail on a stairway leading into the ballpark and breaking 4 front teeth. Earlier in the season, Rodriguez had homered and doubled off Lee, who warned, "Next time, I'll stick it in your ear." On November 16th, Lee surrendered a home run to Caguas first baseman Willie Montanez. Lee said that Montanez showed him up doing the cha-cha-cha around the bases. The Mayaguez catcher warned Rodriguez to watch out. Lee hit Rodriguez with a pitch. Rodriguez charged the mound and took a swing at Lee, who blocked the punch and decked Rodriguez with a left hook. The umpire ejected Rodriguez from the game. On the 20th, Rodriguez saw Lee get off the Mayaguez team bus. Rodriguez recalled, "He was the first guy I saw and I hit him with one shot." Lee went back to Boston to get his teeth fixed that weekend. The feud reached the major leagues on May 24th, 1973, when Lee hit Rodriguez with a pitch at Fenway Park. Rodriguez charged the mound and the Boston fans booed. The Red Sox won 10-1. So there you go. A feud with Spaceman Lee that lasted three whole years. The next part talks about Rodriguez's trade from Kansas City to Milwaukee. The back of page 6. Here we go. On February the 2nd, 1971, after the end of the 1970 Kansas City Royals season, the Royals traded Rodriguez to the Milwaukee Brewers for veteran utility man Carl Taylor. He had earned a salary of $12,000 in each of his 2 seasons with Kansas City and would get a slight raise to $15,000 from the Brewers from 1971. He regained his starting role as the 1971 Milwaukee Brewers season began. Wearing his new uniform number 6, Rodriguez played 115 games in 1971, yet only had a batting average of .210, but was still among the best defensive catchers, leading the AL in runners caught stealing. So now he is a Brewer. Next part is, I want to talk about his baseball card that I actually own. 1972 Topps / OPG number 421. That is on page 7 over here. So before the 1972 season began, Rodriguez appeared on his first Topps baseball card as a Milwaukee Brewer. On card number 421 in the 1972 set, he is photographed either at County Stadium in Milwaukee or at the Brewers spring training field, crouching in a catcher's pose ready to receive a pitch. He is in foul territory near left field, with the side and left field walls, foul pole, and stands in the background. On the back of the card, his height is given as 5'11", weight 185, home Fajardo, Puerto Rico. There is a cartoon with a trivia question, what is known as a fat one. The answer is upside down, a pitch right down the middle. Below that, it says, Ellie tied Thurman Munson for second place among AL backstops in 1971 with 67 assists. He also participated in 8 double plays for Brewers. Below that is his major and minor league batting record. In 1971 with Milwaukee, it is given as 115 games, 319 at-bats, 28 runs scored, 67 hits, 10 doubles, 1 triple, 1 home run, 30 runs batted in, and a .210 average. The median price of the card is given as $1.49. The O-Pee-Chee version, the Canadian version, which I own, which is right here, it's definitely not a mint condition card, but hey, it's one that I got at a store in London, Ontario, which I'll talk about in a second here. You can see there, crouching in his catching position there, in his home Brewers jersey. And there's the back of the card. Right there. Backwards, of course, for you guys to see it, but there you go. 1972 O-Pee-Chee number 421. This card is identical to Topps, except that some of it is in both English and French, and it is printed on white cardstock instead of Topps gray. O-Pee-Chee is the Canadian version of Topps. The O-Pee-Chee set is smaller than Topps, 525 cards versus 787, though both Rodriguez cards are number 421. Each card, of course, has its own company markings on it. No price has been submitted for the O-Pee-Chee card. It is what is known as a common. I paid 50 cents for mine back in around 2009 in London, Ontario. My 2011 Beckett price guide gives a range from a low of $1 to a high of $2.50 for the card, as it does for all commons in the card series where the card is found. Generally, cards of that era are priced with the higher numbers in the set going for higher amounts, because fewer of the high-numbered cards were produced. There you go. I need a drink. It's so hot today, I turned off the air conditioner while I made this video. As soon as I'm done, I'm turning it back on again, and the fan too. But it is hot, and I have to stay hydrated so I don't croak. Now, the next part of this video is going to be about his first home run off of Mickey Lolich. Yes. He hit his first home run off Mickey Lolich in one of his games, and I'm going to talk about that next. So, Rodriguez had several personal milestone games during the 1972 season, including 2 in which he hit a home run, 3 more 3-hit games, and his second All-Star Game experience. On May 25th at Tiger Stadium in Detroit, against the Tigers, my favorite team, in his 312th career game, Rodriguez hit his 5th Major League home run. Batting 7th in the starting lineup and catching Skip Lockwood, he came up for his second at-bat in the 4th inning with the game scoreless, 1 out, and Mike Ferraro on second after a double to right fielder Al Kaline. Facing Tigers starter Mickey Lolich, he pulled a shot deep into the upper deck in left field to give Milwaukee a 2-0 lead. That was all the scoring in the game, as Ferraro scored the winning run on Rodriguez's game-winning homer. Lockwood went the distance for his first win of 1972, while Lolich took his second loss. The Brewers' record stood at 10-18. So there you go, his first home run off of Mickey Lolich. It wouldn't be his last, by the way. There will be more. Next up, we have Rodriguez's trade from Milwaukee to California. Back at page 9. So this page is finished. And now we go to the back of page 9. Over here. So it says, to his surprise, Rodriguez was traded October 22nd, 1973. 3 weeks after the season ended. Once again, he had lost the battle of the big bats and missed 6 weeks because of injuries. They wanted to play Darryl Porter, Rodriguez recalled, so I got traded. Same thing with the Yankees. Thurman Munson coming up, so I gotta go. The Brewers sent Rodriguez, pitchers Skip Lockwood and Gary Ryerson, and outfielders Joe LaHood and Ollie Brown to the California Angels for veteran left-handed starters Steve Barber and Clyde Wright, Ken Berry, catcher Art Kazmaier, and cash in a 9-player transaction. Rodriguez was considered the key player coming from Milwaukee. And next we have yes. Page, what are we up to now? Page number 10. Yep, on the back of page 10. On the front. Oh, here it is. He continued to wear uniform number 6 with the Angels as he had with Milwaukee. And the next part is about a record that Rodriguez set with the Angels, his new team. It is a caught stealing record. On May the 27th, in his 553rd career game at Anaheim Stadium, Rodriguez set an Angels team record by gunning down 4 Milwaukee Brewers trying to steal second base. Batting 8th in the starting lineup and catching Nolan Ryan, facing the team he had played for the previous 3 seasons, in the 4th inning with Darryl Porter, the man who replaced Rodriguez as Milwaukee's regular catcher, on first base after an infield single to pitcher Ryan and Bob Coluccio at the plate, Porter tried to steal second. He was thrown out. Rodriguez to second baseman Denny Doyle to end the inning. The game was scoreless. Then in the 5th, Pedro Garcia hit an infield single to shortstop Dave Chalk with 1 out. With Robin Yount at the plate and the game still scoreless, Garcia was caught stealing Rodriguez to Chalk. Then in the 7th, with the Brewers now ahead 2-0, 1 out and Yount on first after a Ryan walk, Don Money at bat, Yount was caught stealing Rodriguez to Chalk. Finally, in the 9th, Milwaukee still ahead 2-0, 2 outs, Coluccio on first after another Ryan walk and Garcia at bat. Coluccio was caught stealing Rodriguez to Chalk. The Angels went on to lose 2-0. The winning run was scored in the 5th by Yount on a 2-run homer to deep left field by Money off of Ryan, who took his 5th loss in 11 decisions, going the distance. Kevin Coble also went the distance for the Brewers, getting his 3rd win in 5 decisions. California's record after this game was 22-24. And now on May 31st, 1974, in his 556th career game at Anaheim Stadium, Rodriguez had the best offensive game of his major league career, getting 3 hits, including a double and 2 home runs, scoring twice, batting in 4 runs, and totaling 10 total bases against the Detroit Tigers. Batting 8th in the starting lineup and catching Bill Singer, he came up for his first at-bat in the 2nd inning of a scoreless game, 2 outs, Paul Shaw on first after a walk, and Frank Robinson on second after he led off the inning with a single to center fielder Mickey Stanley. Facing Tigers starter Mickey Lolich, Rodriguez doubled to Stanley, scoring Robinson and Shaw and giving the Angels a 2-0 lead. In his second at-bat, leading off the 5th with the score tied at 2, Rodriguez hit his 3rd homer of the season and 9th of his career to deep left field off of Lolich, putting the Angels ahead 3-2. In his 3rd at-bat, in the 7th, with the Angels ahead 4-2, 1 out, and nobody on base, Rodriguez took Lola's Jeep to left field again for his 2nd homer of the game, 4th of the season and 10th of his career to make it 5-2 California. The Angels went on to win 5-3. The winning run was scored in the 5th by Sandy Alomar on a ground ball double play off the bat of Dave Chalk, shortstop Ed Brinkman to second baseman Gary Sutherland to first baseman Norm Cash, off of Lolich, who took his 6th loss in 11 decisions, going the distance. Singer got his 7th win in 10 decisions, also pitching the complete game. The Angels' record after this game was 23-26. And that was against Mickey Lolich, who he hit 3 of his career home runs off 1 pitcher. Next up, we have a putout record for an extra inning game, which was set by Ellie Rodriguez on June the 14th, 1974, in his 568th career game at Anaheim Stadium. Rodriguez set an American League record with 21 putouts in an extra inning game against the Boston Red Sox. Batting 8th in the starting lineup and catching Nolan Ryan, he got 20 of those putouts on strikeouts, 19 of them by Ryan and 1 by Barry Raziano. Cecil Cooper struck out 6 times. That's almost a double golden sombrero. 6 times, wow, in 1 game. Rick Miller and Bernie Carbo, 3 each. Dick McAuliffe, 2, an ex-Tiger. And Carly Yastrzemski, Rico Petrocelli, Tommy Harper, Terry Hughes, Rick Burleson, and Mario Guerrero, 1 each. The other putout was on a foul pop fly by Cooper in the 10th. The Angels went on to win 4-3. The winning run was scored in the 15th by Mickey Rivers on a walk-off double to left fielder Yastrzemski by Denny Doyle off of Luis Tiant, who took his 6th loss in 14 decisions, pitching all 14 and a third innings for Boston. Raziano, in relief of Ryan, got his first win in decision. The Angels' record after this game was 27-34. Right on. And next we have Rodriguez's put-out record for a 9-inning game, which is on the back of this page 11. Here we go. On August the 12th, in his 618th career game at Anaheim Stadium, Rodriguez tied an American League record with 19 putouts in a 9-inning game against the Boston Red Sox. Batting second in the starting lineup and catching Nolan Ryan, he got all 19 of those putouts on Ryan's strikeouts. Rico Petrocelli struck out 4 times. That is a golden sombrero. Dwight Evans, Rick Miller, and Bob Montgomery, 3 each. Cecil Cooper, 2, better than 6. And Juan Beniquez, Carl Yastrzemski, Doug Griffin, and Bernie Carbo, 1 each. The Angels went on to win 4-2. The winning run was scored in the 4th by Bob Oliver on his 3-run home run with 1 out off of Boston starter Roger Moret, who went the distance but took his 5th loss in 11 decisions. Ryan also went the distance and got his 15th win in 27 decisions. California's record after this game was 46-71. Next we have Nolan Ryan's 4th no-hitter, which was caught by Ellie Rodriguez. Yes, sir. The back of page 12. There we go. So during the 1975 season, Rodriguez played 90 games as a catcher and caught Nolan Ryan's 4th no-hitter on June 1st. Activated just hours before the game after missing a month with an injured ankle, Rodriguez called Ryan's gem, quote, better than going 4 for 4 and hitting a home run. I just want to catch his 5th. Rodriguez predicted that Ryan would win 30 games someday. At last, that did not happen. The last guy to win 30 games was a Tiger, Denny McLain, 1968, won 31 games. His fastball is unbelievable, he said, and his curve second only to Bert Blyleven's. In 2018, Rodriguez called Ryan the greatest competitor that I can recall. So on June 1st, in his 670th career game at Anaheim Stadium against the Baltimore Orioles, Rodriguez caught Ryan's 4th career no-hitter. Going 0 for 3 and grounding into a double play against Orioles starter Ross Grimsley and reliever Wayne Garland, his best work was done behind the plate. Ryan walked 4, Bobby Grich twice, Tom Chopay and Mark Belanger, and struck out 9, Al Bunbury 3 times, Ken Singleton twice, and Chopay, Grich, Lee May, and Belanger once each. The closest Baltimore came to getting a hit was a lineout to shortstop Billy Smith by Grich with 1 out in the 4th inning. The Angels wound up winning the game 1-0. The game's only run was scored by Mickey Rivers in the 3rd on a 2-out single to left fielder Bunbury off of Grimsley by Dave Chalk. Grimsley took his 7th loss in 8 decisions. Ryan got his 9th win in 12 decisions for California. The Angels' record after this game was 23-26. So there you go. He caught a no-hitter from Nolan Ryan. One of a very exclusive club. Only 7 guys did that. But that's the most of any pitcher that's ever played. 7 no-hitters. Now we have Rodriguez's trade from California to the Los Angeles Dodgers and his new uniform number. Once again, when he changed teams. Back of page 13. Flipping pages. Here we go. So by spring training 1976, Ed Herman, a catcher, had been acquired by the Angels from the Yankees. On March 31st, 1976, the Angels shipped Rodriguez to the Los Angeles Dodgers for outfielder Orlando Alvarez in cash. He spent 1 season with the Dodgers. In 36 games, 21 as a starter, Rodriguez, wearing uniform number 2, batted .212 with 9 RBIs. Even with such limited playing time, he still managed a few highlights, including 3 2-hit games in his last major league game. So now we have that last game. And that is on page 14. On October 3rd, 1976, in his 775th career game at Dodger Stadium against the San Diego Padres, Rodriguez played what turned out to be his last major league game. Batting 8th in the starting lineup and catching Bert Hooton, he went 1 for 2, was hit by a pitch and scored a run. He came up for his first at-bat, leading off the 2nd inning in a 1-1 tie. Facing Padres starter Rick Sawyer, he singled to right fielder Bobby Valentine, one of his former teammates. With the Angels, Hooten sacrificed him to second. He took third on a ground out by Glenn Burke, then scored on Sawyer's wild pitch with Joe Simpson up to bat, giving the Dodgers a 2-1 lead. In his second at-bat, in the fourth, with the game tied 2-2, nobody out, and Rick Auerbach on first after a walk, he grounded out third baseman Tucker Ashford to first baseman Mike Ivey, Auerbach moving up to second. In his third plate appearance, in the sixth, with the game still tied 2-2, 2 outs, and Lee Lacy on first after a single to center fielder Johnny Grubb, future Tiger in the 1984 season with the World Series victory, he was hit by a pitch from Sawyer, Lacy advancing to second. Reggie Smith, pinch hitting for Hooten, walked. The bases were loaded with Lacy on third and Rodriguez on second. Burke grounded out shortstop Hector Torres to Ivy, and the inning was over. The hit by pitch was the last time Rodriguez stood facing a major league pitcher. When his turn to bat came up again in the eighth, Leron Lee pinch hit for him. He didn't know it at the time, but his on-field major league career had just come to an end. The Dodgers went on to lose the game 3-2. The winning run was scored by Ivy on a 2-out bases-loaded walk by Merv Rettenmund in the eighth off of Doug Rau, who took his 12th loss in 28 decisions. Sawyer went the distance for his 5th win in 8 decisions. The Dodgers' record after this game was 92-70. So ironically, the last team that Rodriguez played on was probably the best as far as record went. But they still lost out in the pennant race to the Reds that year. From Gary Peters to Rick Sawyer, such was the arc of a career that lasted 8 years, 4 months, and 7 days. The final tally is on the back of Rodriguez's last Topps card, number 448, in the 1977 set. His major league totals read 775 games, 2,173 at-bats, 220 runs, 533 hits, 76 doubles, 6 triples, 16 home runs, 203 RBIs, and a .245 average. After suffering a fractured collarbone in Puerto Rico during the 1976-77 Winter League, Rodriguez opened the 1977 Major League season on the disabled list. The Dodgers released him on May 2nd. Against my favorite team, the Detroit Tigers, Rodriguez played 69 games, 64 of them starts, and batted .286 with 3 home runs and 28 RBIs. That .286 ranks third in terms of teams that he did best against in his career, with a large sample size. His top 3 runs down this way. Number 1, the team he played against a lot, who he did best against, was the Cleveland Indians, .291. Number 2 was the Boston Red Sox, .289. National League teams, which he only faced in one season in which he only played a total of 36 games, which he did better than his top 3 against, were the Cincinnati Reds, .400, 2 for 5, the Chicago Cubs, also .400, 2 for 5, the Pittsburgh Pirates, .333, 3 for 9, and the San Diego Padres, also .333, 3 for 9. His bottom 3, the teams that he struggled against the most over his career, were, number 1, of the teams again with a large sample size, the Milwaukee Brewers, one of the teams he played for, 193. Number 2, the Oakland Athletics, 207. And number 3, the Minnesota Twins, 212. National League teams that he struggled against the most in his one season there, again, small sample size, were the Houston Astros, 0 average, 0 for 8. The New York Mets, 0 average, 0 for 6, and the St. Louis Cardinals, a 0 average with 0 for 2. In the summer of 1977, the Pittsburgh Pirates signed Rodriguez to play AAA minor league baseball with their affiliate, the Columbus, Ohio Clippers of the International League, where he played 49 games, batting .224 with 3 homers and 16 RBIs. On July 25th, Rodriguez caught Rod Scurry's AAA debut, a no-hitter. On July 30th, Rodriguez homered and drove in 4 runs against Pawtucket, but the comeback ended. For the next 3 seasons, Rodriguez played in the Mexican League. In 1978, he caught for the Cordoba Cafeteros under manager and former Angels teammate Winston Lanus, batting .249 with no homers and 27 RBIs in 68 games. Then he co-managed the Coatzacoalcos Azules in 1979 to a 66-69 record in 135 games. He played for the Saltillo Saraperos in 1980, batting .260 with 1 homer and 7 RBIs in 16 games. His last active year was 1982 with the Monclova Acereros, where he batted .234 with 5 homers and 51 RBIs in 104 games. Rodriguez said that the players made more money in Mexico and didn't want to leave their country. Eventually, Rodriguez's shoulders and knees told him it was time to retire as a player. Then former Major League General Manager Joe Klein recruited Rodriguez to sign Latin American players as Player Development Director and Chief Puerto Rican Scout for the independent Atlantic League of Professional Baseball. Rodriguez signed former Major Leaguers Raul Mondesi, Ruben Sierra, and Andres Galarraga, among others. He managed the AAA Cafeteros de Cordoba from their team in 1985 to a 72-55 record. In 2018, he was signed to manage the Road Warriors, a traveling Atlantic League team that replaced the former Bridgeport Bluefish, who folded. Their record was just 29-97 under Rodriguez. He was also a coach at the Roosevelt Baseball School in San Juan, Puerto Rico, teaching baseball fundamentals to children from ages 6 to 18. Major leaguers Angel Pagan and Rene Rivera both came out of Roosevelt, Rodriguez said. After Hurricane Maria tore through Puerto Rico in September 2017, leaving more than 3 million people without electric power and scrambling for food, water, and cash, Puerto Rican League owners suspended the 2017-18 season in November, but resumed play on January 5th after negotiating a $500,000 pool to be shared equally among 4 teams. Fans got free admission and parking to games. Evaristo Varo Roldan Stadium in Guibaro, capacity 2,500 and a half hour south of San Juan, was jammed for the opening pitch of the season on January 5th. Hiram Bithorn Stadium in San Juan and Isidoro Garcia Stadium in Mayaguez hosted games without lights. 6 months after the storm, volunteers continued to provide equipment, trucks, clothing, food, and water for the recovery effort, though we have to import produce from other places, including South America, Rodriguez said. In 2018, his 55th season in professional baseball, Rodriguez said he was grateful and amazed at the sport's role in his life journey. It changed my whole life. If I hadn't signed that bonus contract, I don't know if I'm talking to you right now. Rodriguez died on April 23, 2026, at the age of 79 in his birthplace of Fajardo, Puerto Rico, presumably of natural causes. And it was only a few days after that I started working on this video, which is now over. It's quite a remarkable accomplishment, I'd say. Made it through the whole thing. Well, thank you all for watching and listening if you lasted this long with me. I appreciate that, and I will be starting work on another singing video soon, which is going to be of a song by Petula Clark called Downtown. Right on. So thanks for watching and listening, everybody, and remember, be here next time, because I ain't even started yet. Bye-bye now.